What's up, Jason? This is Adrian Gomez. Thanks for sending all of this in. We're going to look at how you throw and kind of diagnose some of the things you do right and some of the things you do not necessarily wrong, but things that you could do better to throw harder. So right now you're squatting well enough into your back leg, and this is a back leg squat. But what I want you to see is that heel is almost staying on the ground a little bit too long. I want to start rotating that back heel up and over just like it just did, but to the point where I want you to exaggerate that heel once you get ready to drive, because that's going to push that hip through and that chest through. So that back heel is delayed a little bit. So power to the back leg, it's not necessarily that you got to work on squatting more, but I want you to do those drills, power to the back leg, those weaknesses, because I think that's a huge thing that you could improve on, of just getting that heel. And part of those drills, walking torques and walking windups and marshals and walking marshals and all those things are gonna benefit you in that process. So let's go to the next one. The next one, what I want you to understand is your stride, and the reason why you're not driving farther, because right when you start to push that heel, your front foot's down, so you have no power into that drive phase, because the heel just stays down for a too long period. So you're at 80 degrees. And I want that to be 110. So this is where I want this. I want you to step out to there. So I want you to step a lot further, and you should step as far as you are tall. So I can guarantee you that you're only stepping maybe 60-70% of your body height right now. So I've got to get you to push and drive as far as you can. That's going to be a huge deal. So that double leg angle, that's going to be power to the back leg, and that's going to help a lot. So let's get into the front leg. Now you see that you're opening up way too much. You have your foot here, your back foot, and you have your front foot. That's almost, it's probably 1.5 feet. So you're opening up way too far. And what also happens is, this is what we call an internally rotated front knee. It's really hard for you to get over that front leg when it's pointed in. So you have a huge internally rotated front knee. What I'd like you to do to fix that is not fix your knee, but just put your foot somewhere in here. That way your knee's going to be able to rotate around a little bit easier. And let's see this angle is actually pretty good, 142. I want it to be above 130, and you're well above that. So you're doing a good job, but you're just internally rotated here. It's just, you're setting yourself up to have some difficulty with that front leg. So I'd like you to be more straight. If you could land, your front foot should be right around there. The heel's going to pop up. I want you to be around 6 inches from your back foot. So that can help, and that's why your back leg has to swing around just to be able to get the ball through, just because your front knee's so internally rotated. All right, so that's the lower half. Definitely have some things to work on, which is a good thing, because now we can get some velo out of the lower half. So let's look at the upper half. The upper half has a lot to do with your position of your chest. So look, when you throw, you are a C posture. That means is you're going to have to make a 79-degree rotation with your upper body. And what that means is, my goodness, you've got to be on track to just throw the ball straight. and you got to get really good at that. I'm okay with that because that's who you are as a thrower. But it's going to be hard for you to maintain that if you don't get into this slot every single time. And that's why you might struggle with command. So I'd like you to start back maybe a little bit further with your head. But your upper body is compensating because your knees, your feet are not where they're supposed to be. Your upper body has to compensate just to get the ball through, and that's what pushes your leg through. So your posture is going to be fixed by your front knee and your back leg. So your lower half is really what's causing that huge fly. So your C posture, what that means is I've got to stay at least to here when I start, and then I'm going to minimize my head movement. Once you fix that lower half, I think it's going to be easier for you, and you can see it's just going to be so much easier. So C posture, remember that. So posture at a ball release. Let's look at your ball release. Let's watch where it is. So you're releasing the ball right here. Let me get an actual line in here. Exact line. You're releasing the ball way too early. And the reason why you're releasing the ball way too early is because the back heel doesn't rotate. And by that, you can't push for a long extended period of time. And then you shorten up that front foot. It's too short, which is what we already talked about. That knee's internally rotated, and that doesn't allow your chest to drive. And then you're compensating for your upper body tilted, and then the ball comes out way too early. So your release point, it's too early. So that's a problem. There's drills to fix those online at 212athlete.com. Let's look at stacking. Okay, so stacking is what you do when you load. You actually do a good job loading. I'll take that all day. But now your elbow goes down, and now I've got to compensate for that. So I'd like you to stay right in this position as long as you can, because watch, you go down, and then I have to exaggerate. My elbow's way behind my body, and then I have to take that and push it all the way around. And instead of it being here, it's up there, and then we have a huge arm fly out, and the ball comes out too far because you're compensating. You're too far this way. So stacking, I want you to get that upper body and that shoulder blade pinched back there better in that position. Once you do that, you're gonna have to fight less against your body. You're gonna be more in sync, and everything is just gonna feel a lot better. So stacking needs some work with this shoulder blade. Okay, let's look at your front glove. Front glove's actually pretty good, but now we're kind of falling. I want you, that front glove, see how you go straight, your arm's straight, and now I go bent? Just try to stay bent and be firm into that. I should see your back elbow there. It's a little bit late. I should see it a little bit faster. So I want that big pinch into that shoulder blade. It's not necessarily about the arm or the glove. It's about the shoulder blade pinching and then allowing you to rotate around that front side. So if that front side, that front glove is not pinched, that shoulder blade's not pinched, then your backside's not going to be rotated against. Now, again, that front knee is causing a lot of these issues. Lower body will affect the upper body. So, so that's front glove. Let's look at the chest extension. Now, your chest extension's pretty good because you have to compensate for that. So it's 43. But because your chest extension's so good, look at how far the chest extension is this side. If that front foot was moved over that knee right there, your chest could be right on top of that. So that's how far you are tilted. I want to be over that front foot and drive directionally that way, not that way. So it's a little bit good chest extension, 43, but like I said, you're having to compensate that internally rotated front knee, you're having to compensate that front glove, you're having to compensate over rotation of your upper body and that back shoulder pinch. You're compensating for a lot. If you fix those three things, the front knee, the shoulder blade pinching with the throwing arm, and that front glove, and that back heel, that's 4. All of a sudden, now you're throwing with better consistency. So, so that's a front glove. So front glove definitely needs work. Both of my shoulder blades are there. I'm a little bit elevated, 172 degrees. I want to be 180. You're about 8 degrees elevated, so you have a high elbow. So this is something that you can definitely work on. It's not horribly big, but it is significant enough because what you're doing is your elbow's way too low here, and it's not pinched, and then it has to rotate all the way through just to come through, which you're, again, I've said this multiple times, but front knee, you're compensating and you're tilting this way. So anytime you tilt that way, it's not going to be conducive to you rotating to drive that ball through. So fix that front knee. That's going to fix the chest, which is going to fix the elbow as well. All of these are kind of connected. Okay? You fix one, you're going to start fixing a lot of these things. So you have a high elevated distal humerus, as they say, or an elevated elbow. Okay, so now you get full layback here. And what should happen is, when I'm here, my hand should come through there. You should drive through with your chest. See how your elbow's lagging? You should be driving through with that chest, and you should be holding onto that ball for a little bit longer, and your arm should not be straight. It should be a little bit bent. So I want to minimize this to maybe around here. When that elbow is bent, you're able to rotate through a lot faster. Really, really quick. So, glove, boom, boom, boom. I think that's about it. Okay. So power to the back leg, double angle needs to be further, front knee internally rotated. Stacking with that shoulder blade needs to be pinched. Front glove is an issue. Chest extension's fine. High elbow, elevated distal humerus, elevated elbow, release points too early. So all of these keywords that I'm saying are all of the weaknesses online. Just find those. You're going to go through this video multiple times, write down all the things you've got to work on, and then go through each and every one and start with your lower body first and then work up to your upper body. Thanks for the patient wait. Hopefully this was what you wanted, what you needed. This doesn't mean you're not good. This means that if you fix these, you will be great. That's the difference. Other people don't like the truth, but you're a truth seeker, and this is what you need to fix. It's going to be a slow process. When I say slow, it's going to take 2 years, which is fast. But if you take those 2 years and you work on this specifically, you're going to get better. Thanks, man.